The cold steel at Marcus Stone's throat told him one thing. He was either about to die or fate had decided to test him one more time. He woke in darkness, barely aware of his own breath, the bitter taste of whiskey still on his tongue, and the weight of a woman's knee crushing his chest. The knife pressed deeper. A warm line of blood slid down his neck. Her voice was calm, steady, and far deadlier than the blade she held. "My father died in your cabin last night. You were the last to see him alive." Marcus didn't move, couldn't. One wrong breath, and the woman hovering over him would spill his blood without hesitation. In the thin moonlight slipping through the cracked shutters, he could finally see her. High cheekbones, dark fire in her eyes, long black hair falling around them like a curtain that closed out the world. Everything about her spoke of danger. Everything about her was beautiful. She was Apache, and she was ready to kill him. Marcus kept his hands flat beside him. "If I wanted your father dead," he said quietly, "I wouldn't have spent all night changing his bandages." The knife shook, not from fear, but from a rage that barely stayed inside her body. Under her knee, Marcus felt the tension in her muscles, the tremble of someone choosing between vengeance and truth. Her eyes stayed locked on him. "Prove it." Marcus shifted only his eyes toward the small table beside the bed. Her gaze followed. There lay a torn medicine pouch, dried blood on the cloth strips, and the bitter scent of herbs still hanging in the cool air. The last signs of an old man who fought for his life. "Your father's pouch is right there," Marcus whispered. "I tried to save him." She touched the pouch with careful fingers. Doubt flickered across her face. "You could have placed this here yourself." "But I didn't." He watched her eyes search his face, looking for deception. Instead, she found something else, a truth he didn't hide. "Your father warned me about your uncle," Marcus said. "He spoke of raids, of betrayal." The blade pressed harder. "You know nothing of Ayakoa. I know he's about to get a lot of people killed, white and Apache both. Your father wanted it stopped." Silence filled the space between them. Her breath came steady against his cheek. She leaned closer, her body pressing into him, heat rolling off her skin like a desert fire. When she finally spoke, her voice carried the weight of a name and a history. "I am Kaya. Takakoto was my father." She drew the knife back an inch. Her anger didn't fade, but something inside her shifted. "I watched this cabin from the ridge," she said. "I saw you carry him inside, saw your light burning till morning. Then you know I tried to help him." "I know you failed," she replied, "but perhaps not by choice." She rose from his chest with a smooth, powerful motion, standing beside the bed with the grace of a hunter. The loss of her warmth left him strangely cold. She tucked the knife into her belt, the leather of her dress hugging her figure as she straightened. "Ayakoa plans to strike in 3 days," Kaya said. "Canyon Creek first, then the town." Marcus felt the weight of her words settle in his chest. Canyon Creek held families, children, innocent people with no idea what was coming. "How do you know this?" he asked. "Because he told me, before I learned what kind of man he truly was." Her voice caught for the first time, a faint tremor of pain breaking through the warrior mask she wore. When she met his eyes again, the fire inside her burned brighter than before. "You want to stop him?" she asked. "Then you need me. A white man alone in Apache territory won't live long enough to try." Marcus sat up slowly. He rubbed the blood at his throat and stared at the woman who had nearly killed him. "And what makes you think I'd trust you not to put that knife between my ribs?" "Because you're the only white man," she said, "who tried to save an Apache's life instead of taking it." She stepped toward the window. Moonlight traced her shoulders, silver against bronze skin. "And because," she said softly, "I need you alive to help me kill my uncle." At dawn, they rode out together. Marcus on his horse, Kaya walking at his side with her hands bound by rope to make it look as if she were his prisoner. It was the only way to move through disputed land without drawing bullets from both sides. The rope rubbed her wrists raw, but she never complained. Each mile pulled them deeper into danger. "Tell me about him," Marcus said as they climbed a rocky path. "Your uncle." Kaya's breathing grew heavier with the steep climb. The rise and fall of her chest beneath the deerskin dress tugged at Marcus's attention, but her words held him more. He was a war chief once, she said. Fought with honor, but gold changed him. White men's promises changed him. What kind of promises? She stopped and turned toward him, her eyes burning with memory, that if he helped clear the land of troublesome Apache, they'd give him territory of his own to rule. Marcus stared at her, stunned. So he's hunting his own people. Not hunting, Kaya said. Destroying. My father tried to stop him. That is why he died. The pain in her voice cut deeper than the knife she'd held to his throat. By evening, they found shelter in a narrow canyon. Marcus built a small fire. Kaya knelt by the stream, washing edible plants she'd gathered. Her dress clung to her body, outlining every curve. She moved with strength and quiet determination, and something inside him shifted, something he hadn't felt in years. You are staring, she said without turning. Sorry, I did not say I minded. She stood, water dripping from her fingers. Baba? But if we work together, she said, stepping closer, you should know something. What's that? I do not break easily. Her voice, her eyes, her nearness, they drew him in like gravity. Marcus held her gaze. What kind of man do you think I am? Kaya studied him for a long moment. The kind who has killed too many people, she said softly, and now wants to save whoever he can. Before he could speak, a shadow crossed her expression. Ayakoa's camp is near, she said. Tomorrow we must decide who we truly are. The fire cracked between them, and fate tightened its grip on both their lives. The sun rose hard and unkind the next morning, turning the canyon walls red as blood. Marcus saddled his horse in silence while Kaya checked her weapons. There was no fear in her movements, only purpose. She carried herself like someone who had already accepted that death might come today, and Marcus felt a tightness in his chest he couldn't shake. They reached Ayakoa's camp by midday. From the canyon rim, Marcus counted at least 30 fighters. Some were Apache, some were outlaws. All of them were loyal to a man who had sold entire families for gold and promises. There, Kaya whispered, pointing to the largest tent. That is where he keeps his counsel. Marcus studied the guards posted at every opening. How do we get close without ending up full of bullets? We don't. Kaya stepped in front of him, blocking his view of the camp. The wind pressed her long black hair across her shoulders. Her eyes held a dangerous calm. You do. Marcus blinked. That wasn't the plan. Plans change, she said. He knows me. The moment he sees my face, he will kill us both. But a white man with weapons to trade? That he will welcome. Marcus stared at her, searching for doubt. There was none. Only resolve. You are asking me to walk into a camp full of killers, he said. I am asking you to help save children, Kaya replied. My father's people, your people? Everyone Ayakoa plans to strike. That ended the argument. An hour later, Marcus rode down the canyon path leading a pack mule filled with rifles taken from the raiders they'd fought days earlier. Kaya was hidden high on the rocks above him, a Winchester resting steady in her hands. The rope marks on her wrists were still raw, proof of how far she was willing to go to stop her uncle. Marcus entered the camp slowly. Every eye followed him. Suspicion thick in the air. But no one fired. He took that as a blessing. Ayakoa stepped from his tent like a chief surveying his land. His gray-streaked hair moved in the wind, and his expression was carved from stone. His voice was calm, too calm. You bring gifts to my camp, white man, Ayakoa said in accented English. What do you want in return? Marcus slid off his horse and lifted the edge of the pack mule's tarp. The rifles glinted in the harsh sun. I want opportunity, he said, and a cut of whatever you're planning. Greed lit the war chief's eyes. Marcus fed him small lies wrapped inside bigger truths. He hinted about settlements with weak defenses, about men back east who funded violent operations. Ayakoa believed every word, but Marcus was not ready for what he learned in return. He listened as Ayakoa spoke of Canyon Creek, attacked at dawn. Cedar Falls burned to the ground after that. Then a coordinated strike on families hiding in winter camps, settlers and Apache alike. It wasn't war. It was extermination. "You want in on this?" Iacocca asked finally. "Then you ride with us tomorrow and show me you can kill white settlers as easily as you trade with them." Marcus nodded slowly, though bile rose in his throat. "Before I commit," he said, "I need proof you have the reach to make all this happen." Iacocca hesitated. Marcus saw it, the brief flicker of caution. Then the war chief trusted his greed more than his instincts. He motioned Marcus inside his tent. What Marcus saw there chilled him. Maps with strike points, supply lists, secret payment records, and letters signed by Colonel Harrison of Fort McKinley. Letters promising troop movements, protection, and political support in exchange for violence blamed on the Apache. Marcus forced himself to speak lightly. "Impressive. Who else helps you?" "Important men," Iacocca said with a proud smile. "Men who want power. Men who will reward loyalty." That was all Marcus needed. He threw the whiskey in Iacocca's face, struck the man in the throat, grabbed every incriminating paper he could reach, and sprinted for the tent opening. Gunfire exploded across the camp. Marcus leapt onto his horse and spurred it forward. Riders gave chase, bullets snapping past his ears. Iacocca's furious screams echoed behind him. Marcus lowered himself in the saddle, urging the horse faster. Then a rifle cracked high on the canyon ridge. One of the pursuers toppled from his horse, Kaya. She fired again and again, each shot clean and controlled. Marcus burst out of the canyon mouth and found her already waiting with their spare horses.
"Did you get it?" she yelled.
"Enough to hang half the government," he said, waving the stolen documents. "But Iacocca is still alive, and he's coming." Kaya mounted in one fluid motion. "Then we ride for Fort McKinley. If Harrison learns we're coming, he'll run or kill everyone who can expose him." They rode through the night, pushing their bodies past exhaustion. The wind cut at their faces. The desert cold crept through their clothes. Neither of them slowed. By sunrise, the walls of Fort McKinley rose ahead, glowing gold in the early light. Soldiers stared as Marcus and Kaya rode through the gate under a flag of truce. Inside the command office, Marcus laid out the papers, supply manifests, letters, and plans for raids that would have destroyed entire communities. General Morrison read each page, his face turning grimmer by the second. "If this is true," the general said, "it is treason." Kaya stepped forward. Her voice was steady. "It is true. My father died trying to stop it." Morrison didn't hesitate. Within the hour, Colonel Harrison was in chains. His network of political allies collapsed around him. Raids were stopped. Families were saved. Settlements survived. But Iacocca was still out there. As the sun set, Kaya stood beside Marcus outside the fort wall.